Thank you for listening to this Crew Network production. You can now listen to all the Crew Network podcasts on thecrewnetwork.net. Live from the Crew Studios in Highland, California.
Check 1 2, testing.
It's time for the Bucks Effect with your host, Chuck Bucks.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Bucks Effect, and I am Mr. Chuck Bucks. And guys, this is the first official episode of the Bucks Effect. You might know us from such shows as the Booze and the Dudes podcast, but we had to say goodbye to that podcast. I'm joined. It was a piece of shit. I am joined here with my buddy, Mr. Dick Power.
Hey.
The official Dick Power, and he is here. He does have his own podcast. It's called the Dick Power Hour. And tell us a little bit about it, man.
Hey, look, I talk about whatever topics that people want to get off their chest, but I want to talk about them in more detail. I don't want to write people off, So I mean, tonight's topic, I think it's going to be fun for all of us, but that's later.
That is later. Catch up. You guys can now, Dick Power and all our shows are actually on Apple. And also the crewnetwork.net. You can check out all our stuff right through the crewnetwork.net and all our YouTubes. We're on social media. Check out the Bucks Effect on TikTok. Thousands and thousands of downloads. Check out the Bucks Effect on Instagram too.
Funny shit. Good shit.
All the good shit. But I do want to bring up, we did talk to the creative team, which consists of two guys named Ron and Cole. Ron and Cole, we know from back in the days, we used to wrestle with them. A little small promotion in my backyard was called IEW. And we through the wrestling connections, we met with these guys. And if you know, a lot of these guys have to do with, have a small part into playing what's good with wrestling today. A lot of these guys now on TV started in a backyard, and they started in the Inland Empire, believe it or not. So you know what? We did talk to them. Ron and Cole was a great podcast. We talked a little bit about the Wrestlemania. What you think about the Wrestlemania?
I had my problems. I'm sure a lot of fans did, but let's be honest, getting over a 2-year lockdown for whatever reason, whether you agree with it or don't, it's fun to get out, especially if you're a wrestling fan. So you got to think, wrestling fans ate this shit up. There was a lot of fanfare. If you're a kid and if you're an adult taking a kid, it had to be that much more fun for you to see that magic in a kid's eyes.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good guys. There's a lot of bad guys. So I'm as a kid who grew up in that, I feel kind of torn because we used to be wait all year for this WrestleMania. It was the event. It was like the best of the best. And we're like, oh, man, that's our guy. Taker versus Michaels, Triple H versus Taker, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And now it's 20 different headliners. They all got crazy moves. They're all badass. Everyone's a superhero. Everyone's a supervillain. It kind of takes the magic out of it. But then again, I'm an adult.
Right. Everybody talks a little bit. Right. Everyone talks a little different. We don't know what was going through our parents' head when we were kids, but it was magical to us, and it might be magical to kids nowadays. We don't know, but we talk a little bit about that. We also talk about the back in the wrestling days, and the guy Cole that is on this show that we're interviewing had a promotion back in the days, which, like I said, had a lot of a few wrestlers in and out of his house. It was almost like the Heart Dungeon.
It was our version. It was like an IE dungeon. You're right.
It was the IE dungeon. That's kind of where a lot of the indie talent, especially in the AEW, that a lot of those people, and NXT. So we talk a little bit about that. Great interview. And like I said, this is the first episode of the Bucks Effect. Next week we should have some other videos, and we do have some upcoming guests. We also have Andrew Allman from the podcastguest.com coming up, and he's going to talk about how to get a guest on your podcast. If you have a podcast already, how to get a guest on your podcast, and we're going to tell you a little bit how to start a successful podcast and how to get more people to listen to your podcast. And like I said, there's a whole lot of questions. I know when you start these things, a lot of people have podcasts. We've been doing it for 4 years.
Yep.
And this is obviously a different name and a little bit different format, but
I like it better already, to be honest with you.
Hey, we're not talking over each other, and it's been good so far. So I can tell you it's going to be a lot more successful as far as what we do moving forward. You guys are going to like a lot of the programs we throw out, and they're all going to be a little bit different.
There's going to be a lot of nudes.
And a whole lot of nudes and a whole lot of drinking. So with that, let's go with the creative team. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is someone that we used to wrestle with in the past when many moons ago, we did wrestle as kids. And this guy had the greatest ring in the Inland Empire at the time. Okay, there was another promoter, but there was somebody else too. Okay,
yeah, the other promoter's dead now.
The other guys, but no, we've had the other promoter on this show.
Oh, that one.
No, so we did wrestle in the past, and there's even people that came from that promotion that are in the WWE today, and in the big promotions that we knew from the past. And these two guys are actually wrestlers. I don't think they're still wrestling today, but maybe
talent,
but they're real talent. Let's give it up for the Creative Team Podcast, Cole and Ron. What's going on, guys?
Gentlemen, my gosh, it's so nice to see your beautiful faces, like Chuck, Joe, Richard. I mean, what a past we've had, right? It's before we were coming on, I was starting to reminisce of a lot of the IEW events, and those are some fun times. An absolute blast.
Dude, the Inland Empire Wrestling. So back in the days, guys, we used to wrestle in it pretty much like a lot of backyard shows. We did a few shows like at malls and stuff, but we had this promotion called Inland Empire Wrestling. And Ron was already established guy. So Ron was main eventing against like our main eventer at the time. I think his name was Tommy Burglar,
Schmitty
Arbuckle. That's his name. Anyways, Schmitty wrestled Ron, and Ron came in like the coolest lifted truck.
Oh, that was the coolest entrance we ever had.
Badass entrance that we've ever had.
Yeah. It was like roaring from down the street. You're like, oh shit.
And also too, Cole had a lot of his family members to wrestle at that exact show
and show up and give us an audience.
And was great. It was fantastic. We had a lot of fun. No drama, just all wrestling. And when it becomes, when it's something like that, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You guys remember?
Well, it's great because I mean, I'll let Cole jump in too, because he really kind of like as far as my community of friends, revolutionized like backyard wrestling. This was back when it was taboo. Now it's on every single platform in WWE. Like everyone's backstory is the backyard, and it's just accepted now. But I felt like we were on that cusp of just because your ring is located in the backyard, you're automatically yard tarts, or however they called us. It was location.
Yeah, if you said that you wrestled in the backyard, it was like you were a pariah. Like people were like, oh, what a fucking loser. Like it was that thing. It was like, don't mention it.
100%. So Cole, let's give it up for Cole, because Cole he was one of the main guys that put on shows, and like I said, it was taboo back in the days. So what's going on, Cole?
Oh, not much. Yeah, it was great. We had a lot of fun. I think one of the things that right from the start when we were in the backyard, I wanted to make sure that we had like real professionals involved. And from very early on, guy Bill Anderson was coming over to my house and kind of supervising and keeping an eye on us. And, Bill Anderson was a wrestler from the 70s, and he wrestled for WWF and AWA and Mexico and Japan. He was all over, and he trained the Ultimate Warrior and Sting. That was kind of his big claim to fame. He's also the reason that we have Jesse Hernandez. So I'm not sure if we like Bill that much, but I mean, go ahead.
So like when I started training at EWF, like my first day, they're all, do rolls and hit the ropes, and I do them perfectly. And then, someone goes, wow, he's a natural. And then Jesse goes, there's some cocksucker out in Riverside that's got a ring.
Yeah, right.
Shat all over you. That's
Yeah,
great.
but then at the same time, Jesse told like once my guys started going over there, I mean after Ron and Warren and then my sister went over there, he was like, "Hey brother, you can send your guys over here anytime, man. All your guys are fucking great. You guys really know what you're doing. You know, they get paid $5 for training, $5, you know, like try to get me to send talent over there because it made his shows better. So he can talk shit if he wants, but let's be real.
Yeah, and I've been in the room for those. Oh, some cocksuckers got a ring in Riverside. I was like, yeah, but you know who knew that a year or two later he'd be the one hitting you up for that ring, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Jesse rented his ring so many times.
He asked for a ring rental from you, or did he ask to buy?
Yeah,
it?
you know what? Something happened on his ring, and his ring broke like 2 days before he had a big show up in Northern California with Ted DiBiase. So like Ted DiBiase is showing up, the $1 Million Man. It's this big convention. There's hundreds of people there, and then Ted DiBiase, they're gonna do the show, and then he's preaching a sermon and all that. And Jesse calls me up like 2 days before. She was like, "Brother, I need a ring. Like, you know, can I rent yours?" And I was like, "Sure." We didn't even discuss price. He showed up, gave me $400 on the spot, loaded up my ring, and I saved his ass. And so me and Jesse have always had a good business relationship, you know, and we've always been good together. But yeah, I know how Jesse is to most people. So
he's a very territorial person, I think.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, were you guys around for like all that UWW nonsense and
A little.
because
Mm-hmm.
when him and Bill Anderson split up, Bill he purposely moved just past the San Bernardino County line, like literally 500 feet past the San Bernardino County line, because Jesse has connections everywhere in San Bernardino County.
Yeah.
And
Code
but his guys would call and report. I was like, "Oh, there's guys drinking in the parking lot and they're just pissing all over the building." And the landlord finally got tired of all the phone calls, and so they got shut down. So
No, you're right. That's what happened. I mean, I remember back in the days, obviously, a lot of people that don't know in the business of indie wrestling, even backyard wrestling, there's a lot of drama. And there was a lot of like, it's not, I guess there is territories, I mean, essentially, in like smaller promotions, but there would be stuff like that. Like people would call in, like, "Oh, they don't have insurance, shut them down. They don't have, this stuff, shut that promotion down." Yeah. What? Shut up. But they would do that. They would always attack each other.
Yeah,
I mean, you came across that a few times, Cole?
oh yeah, I mean, I was at an EWF show one time where there was someone came down. I think it was the opening match. It was like a triple threat. I think Ron was there for this one.
Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Was it Thundercloud?
Yeah,
I want to say was a wrestler.
Thunderwolf.
And then I
Thunderwolf.
Thunderwolf. Yeah, Thunderwolf. Yeah, Thunderwolf. Well, he
Get it
was
right.
Thundercloud. I was there for his first few matches. So he was Thundercloud, and then he was Thunderwolf. And so he showed up, didn't have a bag or any of that nonsense.
I got drink.
Damn it.
No, yeah. Before you get to into the story, Cole, I was just about to bring up like the only bit of advice that Cole gave us that we never took was don't get involved with Joe Cantrell.
Oh my God! Bring that. That was who I was referring to when you said, and I said that. Oh, I think he's dead. It wasn't Jesse. It was fucking that guy. I don't want to talk about that guy.
Let's he who not be mentioned.
Yeah, he doesn't even deserve a fucking clout, man. Fuck
No, he
that guy.
doesn't.
I thought his name was Cunt.
Fuck him.
Yeah, but I talked to that guy on the phone one time because I don't know who gave him my contact info, but I had one conversation with him ever, and we're on the phone and he's talking about, "Oh yeah, brother, we can go find a venue." And then he's telling me like, "Yeah, you got to get these guys and then you got to trick them." And I'm like, whoa, right there. That's it. I'm not tricking. Yeah, I'm not trying to trick this venue into paying me a lot of money so that I can never go back there again. Why would I want to run a building one time, make a couple $100 and then never be able to go back? Like, what a piece of shit that guy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Amen. That guy is a piece of shit.
Did you see he was on Tosh.0?
Oh no.
He had a web redemption.
Dude,
Yeah.
he had a web redemption. He was banned
You guys
from
will
Walmart
fucking love it.
for
If you
life.
haven't seen it, you're a fuck.
Look up
Oh
Joe
my God.
Cantrell banned from Walmart. and it's on Tosh. Just joking.
It'll fucking make your week. I swear to God, it
It
will.
is so damn funny.
He's so full of shit. He gets on the news. He's like, yeah, my kids saw me crying because I was banned from Walmart. I go there every day. And I'm like, you're so full of shit.
He cried because Walmart told him nope.
Yeah, he probably told them that the WWE logo that's tattooed on his arm stood for Walmart.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, dude, biggest mark out ever.
Oh yeah.
He's got like Vince's dick imprinted on his back.
Did you know that guy stole my wallet?
Oh no. He stole a lot of people's wallets.
I know, no, like legit. I had left my wallet out at his office, and then suddenly it disappears. And I'm like, dude, did you fuck with me? Did you check my wallet? He's all, no, dude, I didn't. And then the very next day, it's in the one place that I looked 1,000 times with the money missing, but there's only like $2 in there. So I'm like, congratulations, you stole a wallet for $2, you piece of shit.
We gave that guy enough clout. Let's move on.
I was gonna say this is the most press he's ever gotten.
Yeah, dude. He's still trying to relive the Tosh days.
I like the Funko Pops behind your back.
Oh, I love the
Oh, thank you.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Thank you. It's the only pops I get nowadays.
I see what you did there.
I recently bought
Yeah.
the Super Shredder and the He-Man.
Oh,
I fucking love them. Oh.
Yeah.
yeah. I've been like making deals with myself because I told myself I'll only start collecting wrestling because they make everything. So now I'm trying to make deals with myself. It's like, well, now I got to get Peacemaker because that is John Cena. I got to get Super Shredder because that is Kevin Nash.
Yep.
That is true. Hey, so you got it's been probably a minute. I have not seen any posts of you guys wrestling. You guys still wrestling? Or are you officially retired?
I mean, is anybody retired nowadays? But no. I have like had my last match. It was in 2017. It was fun. It was good times. Cole always has. I always feel like he has that itch in the background. I feel like he can wrestle at any moment.
Yeah,
But that's really for anybody. You know, all five of us. If we get a call, I'm sure we'll get in the ring. But I mean, it's just not on my to-do list. It's not on my to-do list right now.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm accepting bookings. If someone calls me, says I want to wrestle, I'll show
You're
up
that guy
tomorrow.
from Beyond the Mat.
You know,
Especially
nobody
if
knows
it's
who I
like
am.
Flair.
So
If Flair's like just one more match, it's got to be with you, Cole. Come on.
oh yeah, if I should work with the Nature Boy, absolutely.
I'll be like,
No, I'm just
Iron Man.
I'm just kind
of figure 4, brother.
I'm just holding out for when the Bucks finally just kind of leave AEW and go back and do HRW. Then I'll just wait for that phone call.
Yeah.
There you go. Dude, I remember.
Go back to the skating rink.
I remember the skating ring. I remember Christopher Daniels, Diablo. I think it was one of the Cutler brothers. And that was a good promo. And I seen the wrestling in that. I mean, it was incredible. I remember telling DK here, I said, man, they're fucking good. He's all, nah, man, they're pieces of shit backyarders. I was like, dude, we're pieces of shit backyarders.
Dude, that show was
fucking incredible. But that wasn't the only incredible show. I mean, Cole put on a fucking good show too, like he mentioned.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I said,
backyard wrestling. I think it's important that like people clear the air with certain backyard wrestling. When you hear the name backyard wrestling, people don't usually think about what we did or what Cole did, or HRW, like that. Those are some quality shows.
Just like you said in the beginning of the program, Ron said that it was like taboo to be a backyard wrestler, but now all the backyard wrestlers are like the wrestlers of today that are doing well, that are making money. And you're right. I mean, like the Bucks were local. And obviously, do you want me to mention your sister, Cole?
Yeah.
Oh,
my
okay.
sister, Candice LeRae, absolutely.
Candice LeRae is
my brother-in-law, Johnny Gargano, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, every time at Cole's house, it was like a royalty of wrestlers. Like all the top indie wrestlers would always be at Cole's house.
He would always get a phone call from a random big wrestler.
Yeah, no, I've actually made this comparison quite a few times on our own show. I kind of like look back and call his house as, it's basically the dungeon, it's just a who's who of like indie guys that are famous now just passing through there. Like he had Eddie Kingston in there. He had Claudio in there. Chris Sabin came through there. Who else? Cole? Chris Hero.
Yeah, Chris Hero. And I got to roll around in the ring with most of those guys. Like Sabin blew me up like nobody's business. I'll tell you right now, and this is back when we were training 3 days a week still, and I could go for the most part, but I did just like 5 minutes of chain wrestling with Sabin. He blew me up like a motherfucker. That dude could go. So
I love chain wrestling. Did I ever tell you the story that I accidentally called a bunch of Australian kids the N-word?
wow.
Their version of the N-word.
Yeah, their version of the N-word in a wrestling match.
But what was their version of the N-word?
Yeah, what is it? Okay, because I'm gonna beep it out. Okay, this is the
No,
Bucks
no, no,
effect.
no.
Ain't boozing
Don't worry,
vids.
don't worry. It's actually not a beep worthy word. But no, there was this wrestler from Australia named Bush Ranger Kelly, and he worked at this summer camp 3 months out of the year in Running Springs.
For Riri's or
No, for Australian kids.
Okay.
Almost everyone there was Australian.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, let's put on a show for the campers." So it was always him and our top baby face versus the top heel tag team. And the last year that we did it, it was me and Ricky. You remember Ricky, sadly.
Oh
yeah.
I've got a nice scar on my face from that fucker. So
Yeah. And I go to Kelly. I said, Kelly, is there something like an Australian slang word or something that I could say to like really get these kids riled up? And he's just like, say this. And then like a minute later, I see him talking to all the other guys, and he's like, and they're all looking at me and laughing. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're all nothing. Don't worry about it. So we get out there. I body slam him, and I go, "You're all dirty abos," and everyone just. And then they just start cussing me out. I look down to Kelly. He's laughing his ass off. I look over at the locker room area. I can see guys like Liger Rivera and RJ just like balling over. Ah! I go to pin him. You piece of shit. What did you do to me? We get to the back and I go like, okay, I know what an aboriginal is, but what's a dirty abo? And he goes, basically, that's our version of the N-word.
Jeez.
And I just called about 500 Australian kids the N-word. He's like, yep.
Yeah. And now this can't be played in Australia.
Can't be played.
Yeah.
Thank God Ashburn, Virginia is the only place that listens to the show.
Well, all of our audience is in Australia, so we're kind of screwed now.
yeah.
Shit. Cranky.
Guilty. Yeah.
Oh, cranky.
Shane Hayes is out here right now. You know that?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I was gonna go see him at MPW, but I had to work that night, and it was like that's too far of a drive, and then have to go to work. You know, fuck it.
Fuck him.
Adulting.
Yeah,
That's it.
adulting. Yes,
But
exactly.
you guys do have a podcast now called The Creative Team. Tell us a little bit. Tell the Bucks Effect viewers what the Creative Team's all about.
Well, I think a successful wrestling podcast nowadays is kind of hones in on nostalgia because everybody does topical wrestling podcasts. Everybody's reviewing Raw. Everyone's reviewing SmackDown. Everyone's reviewing the big pay-per-view. Whereas Cole and I kind of had this bug in our ear to be like a booking committee or a creative team, if you will. And the bread and butter of our show is basically taking a person or an entity or a show and just taking it back with the benefit of hindsight and rebooking it to where if something was unfortunate, we made it better. Like case in point, Mike Awesome is one of our underground favorite guys to watch back in the day, especially one of those guys that never really got his chance. So we decided, how would we get him over in, like, say, WCW? Because he was over as shit in ECW. But when he got to WCW, something went wrong. Other than that, we have the brackets. The brackets are basically the funnest thing we do because it's where we kind of strip everything down and be total pieces of shit to each other for no reason at all. We take 32 entities, no matter the subject, and we put them in a tournament bracket and we argued them 2 by 2 as if they were matches to move them on. And we each have an advantage called the Darso because, as you know, Barry Darso played the Repo Man. So if you wanted to push your entity forward, if you're outvoted by the third man and the other, person, we can play that Darso, repossess someone's vote, and demolish their chances of, their pick going forward. We have another theme for our show, and we're going to save that for later because that involves a bit of an invitation to the three of you. So, foreshadowing.
You know something, Ron? You sound like Alex Vincent, the guy that played Andy in Child's Play.
But you look like David Draymond, the lead singer of Disturbed.
all hot commodities.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Have you seen that show, Chucky?
No.
Oh, it's so good, dude. So
Hey,
good.
That's free promo, man. What are they
Yeah.
giving you? Free Chucky shirt?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, they're not buying ad time on this show, okay?
No, I listened to the podcast Chucky Talk with Alex Vincent, and I'm like, God damn, he sounds just like him. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it is.
Damn.
Getting
Yeah, I
all
love that podcast. He must be a doll.
Ah!
Oh, the puns are unstoppable.
Well, yeah. So, like I said, that's what's going on with them. The WrestleMania weekend just happened, a 2-day event. That bastard Vince McMahon, dude, he double fucking cashed in WrestleMania, made it a 2-day event. You had to buy 2 tickets to be there that weekend. Most people that were there that weekend bought 2 tickets.
Was there like a fan signing before then?
What was your guys' thoughts on that? And what was your thoughts on the fan access? Pretty much nickel and diamond everybody for every exhibit.
I'll let you take this one first, Cole.
Well, yeah, that's something we've talked about quite a lot and debated whether or not the 2-day event, whether or not we like it. And we're kind of in agreement that we don't need to have 783 matches on WrestleMania weekend, period.
Yeah.
And so, but if it's going to be an 8-hour show, I'd rather they do it over 2 days, because like, I think 3.5, 4 hours is like the max that you can stay involved in a wrestling show. And I got to say, this year's WrestleMania crowd was absolutely insane. This is the first time in a long time it really felt almost like the 90s or even the 80s, where the fans were just into every single thing, every single angle.
I agree.
So I enjoyed Mania this year, which was nice. I'm not thrilled about the 2-day thing, because I think it makes the main event less meaningful when you have 2 main events.
Evens it.
But I wish they would just get rid of all the belts and have it.
Totally.
I'd like them to continue with 1 champion. But yeah, as far as nickel and diming everyone to death, to see everything, that sucks. Like, you should just, if you get an all access pass, you should be able to see everything. You shouldn't have to pay to get in the door and then pay to do everything else. That's kind of bullshit.
Isn't that one guy? Is it Nick Khan?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that Nick Khan was the one that had that idea. Like, yeah, pay to get in and then pay to do stuff.
That's CON.
Yeah, but I totally agree with the whole like having. I don't mind if they have 2 shows, because they unfortunately have 2 champions, and they've diluted those titles so much over the years. It's so fucking pointless. Somebody was asking me, like, who's the real heavyweight champion? I said, whoever is the NWA champion. It's like, what about WWE? What about them? They've diluted their title, separated their title so many fucking times. It's pointless.
Yeah, but see, I have a problem with the NWA take, because the NWA champion died back in '93 when Rick Rude was the champion, and then WCW absorbed that title, and the NWA just pretended that it didn't happen, and then didn't exist again until like 2001 with TNA. So the NWA championship means jack shit to me, especially since it's the 7th best wrestling show out there right now.
Yeah, and then you gotta also factor in, I've made this joke, and this is probably true, but you gotta get into Vince McMahon's brain. It's as simple as this: like, oh, well, there's a world champion, but I have a champion of the universe. What's bigger than the world? There's so many worlds in a universe.
But that belt is ugly looking.
Yeah, but it represents the universe, Joe.
He's like, I need a galactic champion.
Joe, you're not thinking.
Milky Way champion.
Where's my multiverse?
All right, well, let's
champion?
stick to it. Ron, what's your thoughts on the 2-day event? Is that a good idea? Dump it or keep with it?
For a business standpoint, I understand it. For a convenience standpoint, if you don't want to consume an 8-hour WrestleMania and you want to split it into 2 days, I understand that too. But I have a hot take on the subject, and it's not very nice, but I miss the days where WrestleMania was 3 hours and all the best in the roster got on that show. I think the 2-day event and the 8-hour event and all the battle royals and all the multi-man, multi-woman matches, I call it participation trophy booking. And I am not for it. I think like whoever had a great fucking year gets on Mania.
Right. Richard, your thoughts on the 2-day event?
Almost like you guys. I think I feel bad mainly for the little guys. Like when we were little, we would look up to these guys, and like Ron said, you gotta, imagine these kids now. They're so inundated by so much talent. It's kind of hard to have a favorite. Like you're supposed to like all the characters, and if there's a baddie, he's a real big baddie. There's no gray matter anymore. Like when Ted DiBiase was a bad guy, he was a fucking bad guy. Rick Rude was a bad guy. Rick the Monomoto, like these people exuded like evil, bad, like this, it's part of the show.
Right.
The good guys they went over like a motherfucker. Hogan,
Well,
Tell us what to do with our lives.
Yeah, and they've completely reinvented the baby face and made and done it at nauseum. Like everybody is a kid that's just happy to be there and fulfilling their dreams. What happened to like the Ricky Steamboats and the freaking Ricky Mortons? Just badasses that overcome shit. Not I'm happy to be here. This is my dream. I'm just not about that. I was about it for a couple people, and then like it got stale. Like not everyone should be living a dream because it makes them too human to us. And I think I miss being able to suspend disbelief and put these people on a pedestal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was taught, if you're a wrestler, you're up here. The fans are down here. Never lower yourself to being just a guy. You have to be a superhero or supervillain.
There you have it. But here I'm going to close with this. I do, as a business sense and as a businessman, I think a 2-day event is awesome that they're doing it that way, because one, that WrestleMania entrance takes a lot of money to actually create. Okay, that's one thing. Two, that crowd, okay, that crowd is, I mean, that's a huge crowd, and when you could sell double the tickets, and not necessarily just a Raw the next day, because they're gonna get that no matter what. If you could sell double the amount of tickets, I mean, they're gonna buy it because people, that's a destination event. They're gonna fly out to that event, and I mean that's it. And plus that arena, they rent out that arena like a week in advance. That's a whole week to create that entrance, if not more.
I have a question because I didn't see the first day. Who won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal this year?
You would have to tune into SmackDown in order to see that, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh fuck!
And it was Madcap Moss.
Who the fuck is that?
Exactly.
Yep.
Is that? I don't even know. That's that other guy, Boggs' buddy, right? I'm not too sure.
I'm a little cranky that they changed Walter's name to like Gunther. Is it Gunther now?
That's his name.
But now he's jacked.
Yes. Gunther Stark, a legit U-boat captain for the Nazi army.
Well,
Nice.
I remember I met him at PWG, and I just thought he was somebody's friend because he just came in and he looked all bulky and whatnot. I was like, "Oh, how's it going?" He's like, "Hello," and then he gets in the ring with what's his name, Timothy Thatcher, and they had ring comp, and I was like, "Oh shit, this guy can go." And then he gets signed to NXT, and I go to MPW, and Luchasaurus is there, and he's all, "You like Walter? That guy's so slow," and I'm like,
Gunther, this is so terrible. I heard.
Have you seen Luchasaurus throw a kick ever?
I have.
I threw a faster kick in my 500-pound days.
I'm not a fan of his. I mean, he's an okay guy, but like, no, I'm good.
Hey, but that also too, I want to take the 2-day event is okay because they're streaming on a platform, as opposed to when we were kids, we had to pay $60 and then stream it it would only be on Sunday, and we all had to come up with the money and order a pizza. It was something that you bought, but now since it's free, it's like, okay, you can do that kind of stuff.
Kind of cheapens it again. It falls into the realm of what's.
Hey, I want to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, but do you guys pay for the pro version of this shit? Because it's giving us a time.
I know, right? I see that time running out.
So sorry.
You might have to re-invite us on a chin if this runs out.
I mean, we can invite you on ours because we're professionals. We have the pro.
Right. Can you please? Can you invite us amateurs over to the professional? I've done that before.
Hey Cole, I was
It's Vince.
Yeah, Nicole, I was listening to the thing about cults today, and it turns out that a lot of cult leaders, you know what they do to get people to join? They have acapella groups.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We'll talk.
It all makes sense.
The last 2 nights, literally, I worked until after 5, got home, showered, grabbed something to eat, got dressed, drove to Orange County to sing for 3.5 hours the last 2 nights. So yes, I can get a little bit of that cult vibe and understand what you're all talking about.
Let's take let me cut you off there. We're going to take a commercial break. They're going to invite us to theirs, and maybe we can record it because obviously we're running out here. But we're going to go be
and we can't see Cole's
and
face.
we can't see Cole's face because we're going running out of time. Sign in front.
We are desperately out of time.
So send us an invite on the Instagram, and we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we'll rejoin Ron and Cole after this.
Hey there, child. Are you lonely?
Are you sick of being with absolutely nobody? Well, here at Big Bucks Cupid Services, we're gonna find you somebody. I get the kids Friday and Saturday, okay? You get them the other days. I know they have school. I don't give a shit. All right, go. Oh, hey. Are you tired of being tired? Are you tired of not having anybody in your love life? Well, there is a solution. Here at Big Bucks Cupid Service, we'll find you someone. For the right price, I can find anyone to do anything.
Anything? I need a date so bad.
No problem, big guy. What are you looking for?
Someone sexy like Scarlett Johansson.
Well, I mean, your expectations are a little high. I mean, at best you're a 3, so maybe we could find a 2. Maybe somebody with the downs.
Fuck, are you serious?
But I only have $10. What can that get me? $10? $10 will get you a blowjob. Hey, bitch! Come here. I want you to blow that man.
Yum diddy dum dum.
I'm not gay.
Neither am I, but I give one hell of a blowjob.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. What does $100 get me? Whew. $100. That right there is the premium pounder package. That's gonna get you a blonde with some big ass titties. I want him.
Wait, what?
Him? Here at Big Bucks Cupid Services, we won't find you the right one, but we'll find you someone. We also do financing. For as low as $9.99, we can get you somebody, someone, anyone. Call us today at 555-555-5555. Do it. Do it right now. We're gonna find you that special somebody in your life. Call today, 555-555-5555, and Big Buck's gonna find you someone today. I'm fucking drunk. We're finally back after that. That was a great commercial.
That was a great
I love
commercial.
those commercials.
Dude, I have the best commercials
You
on
really
this program, and only the best for our viewers. Right?
They deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you insured by survival? I can't take that ride.
Absolutely not. They don't advertise on the show.
There's on TikTok. What's the commercial that lives in your head rent free? Stefan, Jack Stefan.
Jack Stefanski.
You're killing me, Larry.
Larry H. Parker got me 2.1 million.
Yeah, it just got more ghetto too as time went on.
We'll fight for you.
Yeah, Larry H. Parker looked older and more haggard, like someone needed to fight for him.
That's it.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
So Jets, WrestleMania. WrestleMania night 1. Stone Cold at the end did come back and actually wrestle a match. Your thoughts?
Man, we're going straight there too. I mean, what can you say? Like I posted immediately. I'm 12 years old again. It was perfect. Man. It was absolutely perfect. Like, I got a little scared when he started throwing the mud hole stumps. Just a little bit.
Oh, me too.
But
yeah, it was real slow.
Is it
Did
just
you
me?
see that?
But like looks wise, he looks the same. Like he
That's
hasn't.
Take it from me. Going bald at 16, you look 30 forever. Take it from me. That he's had the benefit of being bald like since the 80s.
Yeah.
Well, no, because he was stunning Steve with that sweet ass hair in the 90s.
That's true.
Yeah.
Blondes.
Yes.
No, that's it. You're right. Because the stomp in the mud hole, he was really slow, and he was almost like Bret Hart delivering that sharpshooter to Vince McMahon when he came back for WrestleMania 26. I was like, oh, cringy. Like I can't watch any more of this shit. Not Bret, right? But he started picking it up. He was joking with us. The only thing I don't like is when he took that back bump, the unnecessary back bump onto the concrete.
Yeah.
I was like, Stone Cold, what are you doing, dude?
I gasped
don't need to do
so
that.
hard. Yeah.
He's like, this was for Deborah. I'm sorry for beating you.
I mean, cookies, Deborah.
But you still
What?
should have got me the beer.
What?
I just wish he would have just finished his sentence when he said, "Bring me a god, ref." I was like, "You're already committed with God. You can't just throw damn in there. Come on now." What?
Have you seen that Rickroll video of his?
Yes.
That is
Several times.
that is the end of the internet right there.
Hey,
What?
You never seen it?
what are you talking about?
What?
There's this video of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's got sunglasses on, and he's dancing.
Oh,
to
yeah.
Never gonna give you up.
Yep.
I was like, oh my god.
That's it. Well, Stone Cold always kept it real. Even on his podcast, he's always kept it real. He's been a straight shooter, and I think they gave him some leniency because thank God the rating went from G to like babies watching this shit to having him a little bit of like middle finger and saying ass, and I think he said a couple other cuss words too, right?
Oh yeah,
Side movie.
sack of shit. What?
What? You're a dumb sack of shit, Kevin Owens. It's pretty badass.
Man, when I saw Kevin Owens come out as Stone Cold Steve Austin on Raw, that was the best thing ever.
I was hoping for a midget.
That was, I gotta say that was something that I really enjoyed on Raw, and I hadn't enjoyed something that much on Raw as far as like heat inducing. Like it was almost borderline risky. Like that if I was in the audience, I think that would have killed my like I would have been like pouty. I would have been Ms. Girl face the whole time.
I've been pissed.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I've recently become a fan of fan reactions. So like when you watch that video and you see shut up, you watch that video of you hear the glass break and dun and you see everyone like, oh my god, yes, and then you see it's Kevin Owens and you're just like, oh come on.
Yep.
Dried my vagina right then and there.
I know.
Everybody was like, but they should have actually done the Kevin Owens show on the SmackDown prior to WrestleMania and then said, hey, fuck the show, we're gonna have a match. What do you guys think? Do you think they should have done the show prior to and then hyped up the WrestleMania match?
What do you think?
So we knew.
I think for me, what I was hoping for was that night one, somewhere in the middle of the show, they would do the Kevin Owens show, and then set up the match for night two, and book it, and then maybe because I know that building seats more than 75,000 people, and those tickets they sold. There could have been a ton. You never know. But I mean, that's I think the way it worked out was perfect. Because if they wouldn't have done the Kevin Owens show on night one, I think everyone knew once that was the last thing, that was the main event. Everyone knew we were getting an altercation, with physicality in some way.
Right.
So I didn't hate it. And then, like you were talking a minute ago about the mud hole stomps. I wasn't so worried about it because Austin was milking the shit out of it and mugging for the crowd after every stomp. Like, yeah, there was a lot of time in between, and Kevin was, a champ sitting there selling those shitty stomps for 10 minutes. But, like, to be fair, the mud hole stomps have always been good. They've never been good. So,
Yeah.
Hey, some people sold the shit out of those though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like Spike Dudley, I never seen anybody take a stomping like him.
If you really pay attention to Stone Cold, even in his prime in the late 90s, he wasn't like a great technical wrestler, and he wasn't even a good like beast of a wrestler, but his attitude and the way he sold things, that's what really got him over. He didn't do it. He didn't do no like crazy big moves. The stunner is not a big move. It's just the way he sells it is that's what you love.
No, absolutely. Did you what do you guys think of the selling on Vince McMahon's part of the stunner? The worst selling of a stunner.
Well, I mean, the first one he ever took was atrocious. So I mean,
yeah.
That was kind of charming, the first one.
But he had he had that time to redeem himself.
Yeah.
Because he knew about that shit.
But
That was the worst stunner
bad
ever.
ones.
Well, he's took thousands
again.
of stunners since his first
Yeah.
one. They were all good, but this last one was a winner.
worst.
I thought it was great because the way Austin just laughed his ass off at it,
Just laughed
and
at
we
his
had
ass.
we had two perfect stunners in the form of Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. And
Oh,
the as
Pat
good as
McAfee.
WrestleMania was, the only clip that's going to live rent free is Pat McAfee selling the stunner, but also pouring a beer down his throat.
Oh, that was the
Yep.
greatest when he was on the ground. He
Yes.
was pouring beer. Dude, that was the greatest.
That
clip
is
ever.
that is my like mental image for WrestleMania 38.
Best person to ever take the stunner, The Rock.
Yeah.
Tell that Austin Theory one. My working nephew there really showed up, and that was my favorite stunner of all time, personally.
Yeah, the swim up.
Unbiasedly. Yes,
Oh,
them
the
swimming
swim,
in midair.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You're right. That was great.
So
Yeah.
also too, guys, you notice a lot of celebrities in this year's WrestleMania. One of them was Logan Paul. I thought he did fantastic. I was really impressed. What do you guys think?
I think he should have a career pivot. Like, I was a total fan of, watching him work. I think, like you said about Stone Cold, he didn't have to be a technical wrestler. He was such a larger than life character, and I kind of butt heads with people on this subject because a lot of guys are just bell to bell that I just want to see technical wrestling. That's cool and all, but I think like that can come later. You can't teach being a larger than life character. You can't. No one can just be The Rock. No one can just be The Undertaker. No one can just be Stone Cold. I think like if you so Logan Paul, obviously that dude's not afraid to be hated.
Right.
Not at all. And like, not only is he not afraid to be hated, when he's doing the things that is supposed to, get a heat reaction, he's taking his time and like letting it happen and making eye contact and, knowing what he's doing and why it's pissing people off because he was a fan. So all that for me shows through, and I hope he makes a few more appearances because I think he's got something.
This is just a quick random question. Is Logan Paul the one that went to the suicide forest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. WWE's just come so far since like the Drew Carey days and Bob Barker being in the ring. Like these guys can work. Bad Bunny can fucking work. Logan Paul can work. I mean, what do you think about that, Cole?
My biggest problem, honestly, my biggest takeaway from WrestleMania this year was why are celebrities having their first or second or third match in history better already than 90% of the roster and all of the independent workers in the world? Like, I don't, right. Ron and I have debated this. It's one of my hot takes that people get mad about, but like, you guys remember the Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio match from Halloween Havoc? Yes. It's one of the all-time great matches, right? And it's fantastic. It's a great match. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. But I also think it's patient zero for why the business sucks so bad today, because everyone watches that match and they remember that Ray did a moonsault into a DDT. He did a running corkscrew plancha. He's just like great, amazing athletic things. But people forgot that match is basically 8 minutes of Eddie Guerrero being a dick and stomping the shit out of Ray selling his ass off, Eddie ripping the mask, trying to rip the mask off of Ray. And the whole match is built around Eddie being a bully and Ray selling. And it's very technically, I mean, it's a great psychological match, but everyone remembers the high flying shit. And so since that match stole the world, everyone's just been trying to do high flying shit because what they remember were the fireworks, but they don't remember the story they told that night. They don't remember the emotion behind the match and how great, why that match was so great was because of the story and not just the flashy moves. But when Ray did all those things, they meant something. They were big, and now everyone's just going out doing stuff. Like, like a couple of years ago, everyone lost their minds over this Ricochet and what's the guy's name?
Will Ospreay.
Yeah, Will Ospreay. Everyone lost
that
their
thing,
minds
yeah.
over that match, right? And I watched it and I was like, cool. They did a choreographed fucking thing that proved that everything they're doing is fake because they had to be working together to pull all this shit off. And then we all watched WrestleMania right now. And yeah, Austin wasn't his old self, but he stole the fucking show going out there with punches, kicks, stomps,
Hot dog.
and, taking a suplex on the concrete like a dumbass. But I mean, story is always going to win out at the end of the day. I think that's why I'll put my brother-in-law, Johnny Gargano, over here for a second. A couple years ago, him and Tommaso Ciampa, like, were all the rage and all the talk, but it had nothing. I mean, the matches were phenomenal, but it was all about the story they told and the build-up. And they had some accidents work in their favor where Tommaso blew out his knee in their final tag team title match. And then when he turned on Johnny after it, Tommaso was gone. So it just had to sit there and linger for a while. And then that story of Tommaso being a shit heel where he was even a heel on social media. He wouldn't talk to people and he didn't have music. And it captivated the world because of the story. Like we talk about it all the time. Our favorite match, Ron, I know you'll agree, is the Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12, but it's because of the boyhood dream comes alive and all that stuff. So
Cole and I have actually, when I worked over at Captain Jack's, I don't know if you know, I don't work there anymore.
I heard.
What?
Yeah.
No, 10% off. No more.
But but like he and I would talk about how like I like Gargano and I think he's a great worker. Way to go. I like Gargano. I think he's a great worker. Of course, we both agree that Jim Cornette is way too harsh on Gargano. No, there can never ever be a perfect wrestler. But I mean, fuck. What does this motherfucker got to do?
Hulk Hogan. Just kidding, guys. Don't lynch me. Come on,
I wanted to say this real quick because we were talking about celebrities at WrestleMania. Cincinnati Red. One day he and I are chilling, and it was the year that Snooki wrestled with what's his name, Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
And Red goes to me. He goes, Joe, doesn't matter how much you train, doesn't matter how good you get. Snooki was in WrestleMania, and you never will be.
Yes.
But that's the thing, dude. WWE needs that. Like WWE needs to have. You know why? My son's 13. Doesn't really watch wrestling much. Okay. Ever since he's seen Logan Paul on WrestleMania this past weekend, okay, he's been playing wrestling games every day. It brought him back to wrestling. And I said this years ago. I mean, obviously, you guys know too. It's just you have to have WWE is ahead of the game when it comes to marketing to the future generation, and you have to do that in order to keep your product alive.
I remember they used to fly the red plane over Cole's backyard.
Record
all the fucking wrestling moves,
dude. They're there.
People said we were crazy, but like a day later, it would be on Raw.
Seriously, there's a bunch of alphas that work for these fucking people, dude.
Yeah,
WWE is full of alphas.
Well, here's what I think is it.
What's an alpha?
I know, right?
Fucking top of the line. Nobody here.
It's grade A, B.
Think about this. Vince McMahon markets to children. Okay, so
I don't like
now
this.
you want the ticket for the kid, but who's gonna take the kid? Mom and dad.
You.
So now you have 3 tickets you're buying because one person wanted to go.
But that's always it. But they like I said, they bent the rules a little bit. They said, hey, listen, we want to appeal to our main crowd, which is us, our generation. And
Please don't leave.
And that's it, dude. They're like, listen, we're not gonna go completely G this time. We're going to kind of we're going to bend the rules a little bit. We're going to have Stone Cold cuss a little bit. Like, hell yeah, we want that. Like, this is not a complete baby product. There still is violence in this product. I mean, you can't make it a G-rated. This is not Teletubbies.
The whole point of the product is it comes from a point of vitriol. Hey, man, you stepped on my dog's paw, heard him whimper, and you laughed. You're going to get your ass kicked today. It's like, I'll watch that wrestling thing. I'll watch that match.
Just get rid of that fucking 24/7.
Everybody needs a character. Everybody needs a character. Conor McGregor is a fucking character.
You got to sell the character.
You got to sell a character.
You can't just do 100 Hurricane Ranas. And it's like, remember like the DDT used to be a move. And then like, dude, that was a finisher. And now everyone busts the DDT. Everyone busts a super kick. What the fuck happened to those being like a finisher?
Yeah, times change.
I've got a question for our guests. All right. Your favorite wrestling stable and least underrated stable?
Well, I'll take this with a little cheap plug because you can go into our archives because we have a bracket for the greatest factions ever. Nice. And that's a special guest, Candice LeRae.
I'm still, well, yes, my sister Candice LeRae is on, but I'm still upset about the results. But go ahead.
Yes, he is. Yes, we have crowned, the creative team has crowned the New Day as the greatest faction of all the times. So,
that's controversial.
Hey,
well, remember how Ron mentioned we have this Darso rule, right?
Yeah.
So, very early on,
I'm gonna call that one in right now.
He found out basically in the first round that my sister Candice LeRae is not a Ric Flair fan at all in the league. And so very early on, the Four Horsemen lost to who? Was it the Japanese group, the Bullet Club? Yes, the Bullet Club very early in the bracket took out the Four Horsemen, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I think in our final four there was no DX, there was no NWO, and there was no Four Horsemen. So New Day kind of won by default, but
Candace probably voted for New Day because she met New Day and knows all the New Day.
She knows those guys, but she made some really good points. When you really think about the New Day, like most factions last for about 3 years tops, maybe.
What about Demolition?
New Day's been around for what, 10 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
they've been on. I mean, they're not top guys, but they're like the second tier level guys always, and they're always top 5 in merchandise sales. The kids love them. They're entertaining. They're fun, and they've never really flipped heel. They've never really changed what they were. So
hey, what about
they kind of won by default.
And plus, they're really the only faction or trio, however you want to look at them, that where you feel like they never really went to that well of like, oh, one of us succeeded, let's turn on them. They stuck
for that.
They stuck together the whole time, and I think that's also that's new.
All right, okay, so underrated. What's an underrated team?
Underrated?
Yeah,
I don't think. Yeah, go ahead, Cole.
Okay,
I want to think about it a bit.
For me, I think one of the underrated factions is the Dangerous Alliance, because when you're talking about ravishing Rick Rude, stunning Steve Austin, who, hot take, I like stunning Steve more than Stone Cold. You guys were throwing some shade a little bit, but yeah, stunning Steve was a fantastic technical wrestler. Even when I was a kid, I still to this day remember the match with stunning Steve and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I believe it was for the United States title, or it was either that one or a television title. But Austin threw everything he could at Steamer, and he just kept kicking out. So he finally got tired, and this is when Bill Watts was there. So they had the over-the-top rope disqualification rule. Yeah. So Sonny Steve's just trying to shit can this asshole over the top rope, and Steamer just keeps skinning the cat like, no, bitch, you're not getting disqualified. And then he finally wins the match, and it stuck with me even as a kid, and I just loved stunning Steve. So also Arn Anderson and Paul Heyman wrapping up the Dangerous Alliance. It's one of those things that WCW dropped the ball on, but it's a super underrated group.
It dropped a lot of balls.
Well, yeah. But that would be my underrated faction of all time.
All right, come on, Ron, give it to me.
Yeah, don't come on, Ron. But I was gonna say Dangerous Alliance too, honestly, but I'm glad Cole got his description out there. So the obvious choice, I got to go with the Mexicools, and here's why.
That works. That works.
Anybody? Mexicools? Hoobie Juice, super crazy, riding to the ring on a Juan Deere lawnmower.
If they did that now, it'd fucking be canceled all over.
Yes.
He's crazy. Yep. He's super. Do you
guys think that was Vince's idea? He's like, wait a minute, 3 Mexicans. Why are they not on lawnmowers? They're like, no, Vince. We're gonna put them on lawnmowers.
We got lawnmowers in the back. Don't worry about
it. But they could also wrestle.
But these are decorated Latino performers. Yes, perform on the grass.
we
have them cut our grass.
Me and Sassy here had this constant joke about how Sheamus got his first title win. Just like Triple H is getting high with Vince. Just, I got all these damn glow sticks. I got to get rid of them somehow. Vince, give me Shawn Michaels and I'll get rid of them. Yeah. You're high, Hunter. Yeah. If I get rid of all these fucking glow sticks, you got to make that guy the champion.
And it's just Sheamus working out in the background. Yeah. So he's like, hey.
Because not to throw down Sheamus, but like he wasn't really over when he won the title.
Yeah, it was hot shotted, but that's just what they do over there. And I'm not going to sit here and let you disparage the good goddamn name of Rocksteady. So,
yeah, jeez.
Ever talk about Rocksteady like that?
Don't you ever do it?
It bebops
in the best version of Turtles ever.
The best
ever,
dude. I walked out of the first movie like so quick. I was like, "This is fucking bullshit."
That's because you weren't getting an HJ.
I wasn't.
That's it.
I was just like,
anyways, guys, let me tell a story. Come on, you guys are killing the viewers, okay? I'm losing viewers.
Drawing vagina.
But I did want to bring up, obviously, like I said, we have said that Cole's sister is Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae back in the days did train with us, and Richard at the time was a referee. Okay, I've never seen Richard get his ass whooped that fucking bad. And Candice, I don't know what she had on her mind.
It was a match between
the day or what she had to prove, but she beat the fuck out of Richard here. It
Well, I
was the
can confirm.
craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'll tell you what was on her mind. She met him. I mean, that's
That's a fucking dick.
Open and shut case, Johnson.
Yeah.
and all it's like, obviously at the time we're like, whoa. Years later, I see Candace in like a hardcore match, like bleeding, like, you know, the whole Becky Lynch thing was kind of bullshit compared to what Candace went through. Like she was like on the fucking like main like pro wrestling magazine.
The funksters in the background.
He's like Stone Cold, like the bloody, like hardcore fucking match. It was like it all makes sense.
Yep.
It all makes sense. Like,
well, Becky's situation was an accident, whereas Candace, that shit was called. Yeah, that was happening. I am gonna bleed tonight. You just got accidentally hit.
She took what do the Bucks call that stupid move where the one tombstones and the other one does a flip, and then she took that on the concrete. So
the Meltzer driver.
Yep.
Yeah,
Meltzer
she took a Meltzer driver from the ring to the floor. So
yes. So all that was predetermined. They were gonna do it. Whereas Becky just accidentally got hit in the face by someone who's no longer there. But I'm not taking anything away from her because she is a big star, and I think she can cut one hell of a promo. But it's just funny how like accidents can happen that way.
I like her now, but I think she's completely overrated. Anyways, but I do want to bring up Cole. What is the future? Do you know what the future is for Candace? She going back to WWE or she's moving on?
Dude, well, I mean, right now she still has a contract, so it's not like she's a free agent. I know she's been cleared to return for rehab. That's where we're at right now. So we'll see what the future holds. I mean,
right.
Even if I knew stuff, I wouldn't say anything. So, but at this point, I don't know. I don't know anything. She doesn't really know anything.
Right.
She's coming back as Megatron.
I mean, she just had a baby, so it's not like
Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
But so we'll see what the future holds. I know right now they're both enjoying being parents and getting to spend time, at home with the child, because once they do get back to wrestling, they're gonna have to leave home and they're gonna have to be away and they're gonna have to try to balance that and all that. So that's a big deal. So right now they're enjoying life. So.
Cole, are you able to tell me that story about DX and Candace?
Which DX?
What are you fucking talking about?
I mean, there's so many. The one thing I know is unlike maybe some other people, my sister very professionally handled her situation, and they planned ahead. This wasn't a surprise baby, they planned ahead. So just one thing she told me, and if she hears this, she'll probably kill me, but is that they went in to have this meeting, and who's at DX? Who's the writing team? It's Sean and Hunter and Road Dogg. And so she's just in this meeting with these three guys discussing about,
the seance with China.
She's like, I just realized my Planned Parenthood team is D-Generation X. That's my Planned Parenthood, ladies and gentlemen. So
That's fucking great.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I didn't know Road Dogg. You didn't say Road Dogg. You just told me Sean and Hunter.
You didn't know?
Yeah, Sean, Hunter, and Road Dogg are there for this meeting, and that's the writing team. Like DX is my Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, they got rid of everybody.
They got rid of Road Dogg.
They got rid. Yeah, pretty much everyone's there. I mean, Sean's the only one that's still there. That's all kind of public.
Because his lazy eye is hypnotic.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine like all those four people in a room, and like she makes the announcement and they all giggle and jump up and down like girls. Like, we got 2 words for you, baby shower.
It's pretty awesome actually to have DX.
The other one that was really cool was when the Way dressed up as all the members of the Clique. They had Razor and Diesel and Sean and Hunter. And then I think the dog had the old Hunter Hearst Helmsley like costume out, and so one of them was X-Pac. And Sean and Hunter are they literally have professional cameramen there taking pictures but Sean and Hunter have their phones out so they can take pictures and text Hall and Nash and be like, hey guys, look at this.
That's fucking
Let me
funny.
ask you a question. Hall's passing, did that hit you at all? Because actually it kind of hit me.
I mean, it definitely hit me a little bit. It's one of those things where there are certain guys like Scott Hall and Jake Roberts and those guys where we've kind of been expecting that kind of a thing to happen for years. It's unfortunate that it was after he got his shit together and he's been clean for a while. and just to have it be such a freak injury, he fell and broke his hip, and the surgery threw a blood clot, and it ended his life. It's unfortunate that he went through all that and finally got through on the other side for something so, just something so stupid to end his life. It's frustrating.
He's up there talking to St. Peter. He's like, "Hey, Chico, where am I?"
I got one story. Then let's go ahead and go to your
got a lot of stories.
Your segment you were going to tell us about. But check this out.
You drink too much.
Mondo Vega and a certain former WWE wrestler who's now in ROH. I won't say his name. They're at Wrestle Reunion, the last Wrestle Reunion where Jake Roberts retired. It's like midnight. Everybody's fucking drunk. So-and-so and Mondo are in line to use the urinals. And who's in front of them? Larry Zbyszko, Jake Roberts. Now they're marking out. They're like, we gotta listen. We gotta listen. So they lean in and they hear Jake Roberts go like, kids these days, they don't take their time anymore. They're going too fast. You really got to give it your all. And then so-and-so, former WWE wrestler, taps Jake Roberts on the shoulder. "Excuse me, sir. I'm a professional wrestler as well. And I totally agree that we should slow down and tell a story when we are in the ring." Jake Roberts turns around and goes, "I was talking about blowjobs."
Good old
Jake Roberts.
Wait. But he said kids these days?
Yeah. God damn it, Ron. That was such a good story.
You got him.
Damn it.
Oh, Ron, do you know what my claim to fame is nowadays?
Hold on.
Okay.
Did he really say kids these days?
I was told. You know my claim to fame in EWF is now?
Breathing holes in your trunk.
Me and Ricky,
Stinky britches.
me and Ricky tag team Jake Roberts' daughter.
Okay. Like in a match or
in a match.
Okay, or a chicken on a rotisserie deal.
Yeah, rotisserie.
Okay.
Spit roasted.
Okay, so she was wearing the strap on and you were fucking Ricky.
Jake was in the corner.
Yeah.
He's like, "You owe me 400 at the end of this."
Jake was in the closet.
No, it was fucking hilarious. We're like going to town and we can hear Jake Roberts in the next room coughing up a lung.
I believe that story.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I believe it.
All right, so hey man, let's tell us this your segment you wanted to tell us about, or do.
You really
the brackets or whatever.
Oh, we're there. Are we still
podcast.
reviewing WrestleMania?
Well, we're just about closing this show.
Hey, WrestleMania was so good.
We could start a new show. I don't know how much time you guys got. We could start a new show.
I mean, we're family men. We're about to hit that 8:00 mark. I'm sure you're family men as well. But hey, you called it in the ring, kid. I'm gonna just throw out the invite right now. One of the things we like to do on the Creative Team Podcast is to do our fantasy drafts, and that is where Cole and we have a show where we draft our rosters depending on whatever the theme is. We'll usually use time periods or women only, something like that. But typically we've been using time periods lately or eras in wrestling. This time, I'll get to the theme later. But what we do is we draft 20 wrestlers or entities. Tag team counts as one. And we have to make an 8-match card out of that roster. And then we present the cards to the 3 judges. That's where you guys come in. Mm-hmm. And so basically 3 against, 2 against 1, unless all 3 of you vote either way. Basically you guys just judge our cards. And it gets real fun. There's a lot more pettiness. There's a lot more arguing, and it's funny because it's not arguing. It's trying to sell the judges. Like we can be going against our beliefs, and all that matters is we're just trying to win the judges over. I could be booking somebody that I just flat out hate.
We're American Idol.
Yes.
Like that time that I buried Scott Hall to try to win a point.
Yes. Yeah, buried Scott Hall. Or Cole's a big he backs for Cesaro. Cesaro is one of those guys that never got a break, needs to be top guy, blah blah blah. And I feel the same way too. So when I have him in my main event, Cole goes out of his way to go, now I like Claudio, but he ain't a top guy. I'm like, fuck you. What happened?
That's true.
So anyway, we cordially invite you to be the judges on our next draft, and the theme is going to be Intercontinental Champions. And the only way for you to get this person on your roster is that they have to have held the Intercontinental title at some point, once, for a day, however long. If they wore that belt, they qualify to be in your roster. And we're going to be cutthroat and draft who we can. All eras are welcome. That's the beauty part, because this championship has survived, and I do say survive nowadays, for a long, long time. And really the world is our oyster, because we kind of stick to time periods, but now we have the entire just world of Intercontinental Champions at our disposal. And I'm anxious to see like who in the old days in their prime is going to wrestle someone in the 2000s or now in their prime. It's going to be fun, and I'm going to whip Cole's ass.
All right,
there you go.
Let's do this.
Oh no, it's not today. It's not today.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No. Down the road. But
We will.
you guys
We
are
will,
invited.
for sure.
Yes.
Hey guys, random
Yes.
question.
Wait.
Hogan ever held the
No.
world title? I mean, the Intercontinental?
No. Aside from
Nope.
the world title, he held the tag team title with Edge, and that's about it.
So is the Intercontinental title more prestigious than the world title?
Well, that's a different show. Let's not. Let's not.
Yeah, that's a big rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah,
Yeah. How much time you got?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, no, hold on. Does anybody know why they discontinued the Intercontinental title for like a couple of months back in the early 2000s? Remember when Bischoff took over and he unified the hardcore and European, and then he unified the Intercontinental and just fucking disbanded it? Does anybody know?
They
why he
lost
did
it. They lost it for a while. It was in the back of someone's
Remember
truck.
they did a battle royal, and either Booker T or Christian won it.
It was in
Well,
Vince's
quite frankly, they're doing what we were at the top of the show complaining about. They were getting rid of all the titles. There should be just one champion. And I was, I'm for that now. But, they just wanted the one singles title, one tag title, one women's title then. And maybe people got, broken up about it. It's like, I want a title too. And now look what we have now. Just everyone's got a title. You get a title. You get a title.
Yeah.
One of the rumors swirling around is that Fox, one of the main reasons they invented the Universal title to begin with, is that the Fox executives and the USA executives are being petty, and they don't want to see their wrestlers on the other channel. So they're really holding them to strict, roster splits. So that's why they came up with a second title for this brand split, because they wanted to have a champion on Raw and one on SmackDown. But the actual companies who are paying billions of dollars for these TV rights don't want their people on the other show.
God damn it. So like we've been craving like a wrestling war for a while, and the actual wrestling companies aren't at war. It's the fucking networks they're on.
Yes.
They're doing some Monday Night War shit, and the wrestlers aren't doing it.
I had heard that the Fox wanted Bray Wyatt on their network as the Fiend, and that's why they made him the champion.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah,
That's it. All right, that's not here out of there.
All right.
Anyways, we're gonna guys. Do you anything you want to plug?
Well, friends, I mean, you did bring up Scott Hall. You did bring up Scott Hall, and we have a show coming out next week. Go back in the archives and listen to all of our content. Right now, we have the top 10 greatest promos ever as our newest episode. But go back and listen to all of our episodes. You'll be glad you did. But next week, we're since Scott Hall just tragically passed away, we are going to be taking it up with creative, and we're going to rewrite history and what would happen if the curtain call never happened and Razor stayed. And if you look at the lay of the land, what could have been? Because he had to have been next. He just had to have. So how are we going to get to where he would be next? How are we going to get to where he'd be the top guy in the company? Because my goodness, Bret Hart's not back yet. Shawn is right in the middle of his championship reign. He needs guys to work with. Rocky Maivia is about to debut at Survivor Series. Stone Cold Steve Austin is winning the King of the Ring that year. There is so much meat on the bone here, and I can't wait to take it up with creative with my good friend Cole here, and we're going to rewrite some history.
It's like a math equation.
That's it. And we can find you on everywhere on podcasts. You guys have a website or anything?
Oh, yes. We are the Creative Team Pod on all social media platforms. You can find me at Ron for Your Life, number 4, and Cole at Cole 2130 on all the social medias. Just put us in your ears. Go to anywhere you consume podcasts. We're on there. You'll see the sweet Back to the Future logo where we're looking as sexy as all can be, and just shove us in your ears. We've been at it for a year. We're coming up on a year next month. It's going to be a big old party. We're going to have a year extravaganza to be continued. We're going to be throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks. It might be a 5-hour show, Cole. What do you think?
I always this is the thing I always fight because I listen to podcasts at work, and so I love the 4 and 5 hour podcast. Jim Cornette is my hero. It gets through almost a whole work day on one of his pods. And you know, Bruce used to be great back in the day, but now you listen to a 90-minute Bruce show and 45 minutes of it is commercials. You know, because he's got other shit to do. But yeah, I always want to do 3-hour podcasts, and Ron's like, nah, bro, we need that 40-minute commuter. And I agree with him. I like it. Maybe someday we'll be big podcast and hot shit, and we could do a 3-hour episode. So
there you have it. Guys, thanks for being on the show. We will take you up on the offer. So let us know the date when you want us on to judge. You want us to judge it, right? Or do you want us to come up with the draft ourselves?
Oh, no, you'll be judging. You'll be judging. You'll be telling us how bad we are at booking.
You got it. So just send me the invite on that. We will judge those wrestling matches for you. But thanks for being on the show. I'm sure we could have actually probably, got you to talk about more of the stuff we did in the backyard, but that's another show. Yeah. So
gladly.
Yeah. Thanks guys for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Check them out, the Creative Team Podcast. Anything else, gents?
Check out Dick's Power Hour.
Dick's Power Hour. And then we also have the STD podcast with DK Murphy and that some
he
guy.
talks about his STDs.
Crewnetwork.net. Check us out. Once again, thank these guys for being on the show. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Jen.